guys, as you've probably seen in the title of this video, this is going to be a test or a competition, I guess, between the Japanese dovetail and the kind of traditional kind of style dovetail that you'll be most used to seeing. I guess one thing, yeah, Japanese dovetail, that's kind of become like a name for it, I guess, now, popularized, I guess, by myself and other people that have done these. That's not its real name, really. It's there's a Japanese name for it, and kind of translated it's called twisted jointing, and it's not specific to any particular one. That's its kind of generic term for all of these types, anyway. Just all kind of, you know, address that before I get some comments that people say it's not called that, but you know. Okay, so what I have done, and you'll be able to see other videos of me, you know, other videos of these, and a video of this one. This is the one that kind of became viral or what have you. This video, you know, this kind of joint here. You can watch that in your own time after this if you want to. So then it kind of moved on, and everyone was saying, you know, which one's stronger, the traditional dovetail or the kind of Japanese dovetail? So I decided to try it out and see. I didn't break these myself, so don't worry, it wasn't just kind of, you know, carrying a couple of bags of, you know, flour or cement or what have you. It was done in a very scientific kind of way. So if you do want to just, like, you'll see that it was recorded, and you will see the results at the end of the video. I'll put a timestamp just up here so you can see, you know, see where to go. There is 2 recordings of this joint being broken in real time, and then this joint being broken in real time. And it was shot or recorded by a company called Easycomposite here in the UK. They manufacture and sell carbon fibre, composites, resins, infusion resins, things like that. So go and check out their website. I took a course with them, a 3-day course on carbon fibre and composites, which we teach here at the school. And during that course, I walked past the machine and was like, what is that used for? And it's for testing like tensile strength for carbon fibre composites, you know, whether it's being kind of under compression or it's being kind of stretched as well. So, and I was like, oh, can that machine, you know, could it compress a joint like this? So I described it, and he'd done a bit of woodworking himself, and he said, well, sure. So I had already made this Japanese joint, and then I made this one. Same timbers, this is sycamore here, same thickness, and it is walnut kind of here. So same thickness material, same glue, so it's as close as you're going to get to be a fair kind of competition, and clearly the same very, very expensive machine kind of testing it. So you can see that, you know, yes, you could test it, you know, many different times. It was tested kind of at an angle, kind of like this. I drilled these holes because I thought I was going to kind of put some weights in it and stuff. But then this is before I went there, then I went there, and then I obviously sent them off. Yeah, and they've got the results kind of here. So now I will show you the video clips of that, and then after that we'll come back and we'll talk through the results. Okay, so yeah, it might have been hard to kind of see from the video which one, you know, was the winner, I guess. You might see, you know, there's a few interesting noises, a few creaks and cracks and things like that. So in the chart here, the red one is the Japanese dovetail and the green one is a traditional kind of dovetail here. So you can see on the, and also I guess a little bit about this because I'm no expert in this whatsoever. The force is in Newton meters and the speed it was run at was at 10 millimeters per minute. So if anyone else has any idea of kind of, I mean, I've kind of written down what I think, you know, is the kind of, you know, result, I guess, but if there's anyone else, experts out there that can understand it and my results are wrong, I apologize, but this is what I've Googled and kind of found out. So what was interesting about this kind of result is that, you know, the red one here, it goes all the way up to over 1,000. It goes to 1,060 Newton meters before it fails, and it has quite a sharp kind of down spike kind of here, as you can see, and then it kind of goes and fluctuates kind of down here. In my mind, kind of, you know, if the joint, it obviously has gone up that up that high, and that's its kind of failing point up here. With the traditional dovetail, it kind of only went up to just under kind of 400 and kind of cracked, as you could hear in the video. And then as the joint kind of opened up a bit more, it then got stronger. In a minute, I'll kind of handle the kind of joints and I'll describe them a bit more in a second. And in this one, he described it, the chap at Easycomposites, Paul, kind of described it as scissoring. So obviously went, you know, up a bit more, down, up a bit more, down, up a bit more, down, and I'll kind of explain that in a minute when I get the joints. And then it did have a maximum kind of force up here of, what was it, 653, kind of right over kind of here, obviously. But at this point here, the joint had already kind of broken away. The end grain had already kind of failed on the joint. So in my mind, the joint actually did fail at that, you know, 300 or just under kind of 400 kind of here. So if you look at the kind of, leave that one kind of over there, my kind of calculations, I guess, here. So Newton meters, and then if you look kilograms into Newton meters, I'll go into pounds kind of later, because I know for you guys in the States, you go by pounds rather than kilograms, but here, just for myself, you know, 1 kilogram equals 9.9 Newton meters. So here's the total for the Japanese dovetail, 1,060 divided by 9.18 equals 108 kilos. So the Japanese one took, for it to kind of, that initial kind of break, that kind of spike over here was 108 kilos. So a fair amount for a joint that kind of size. And then the standard dovetail was, I kind of was just under kind of, you know, 400, but I just put 400, and that divided by the 981 equals, you know, 40.7 kilos. So the standard one was 89.73 pounds, and then the Japanese one was 238 pounds. So that's a, you know, a big old difference between the two. Going through the results kind of here, I'll kind of go through them more in, you know, what my kind of thoughts are, what actually kind of happened, and why there's that big strength kind of difference between the two. Let's talk about kind of the standard kind of dovetail first. Well, the standard dovetail, as most people know, well, this one does actually come apart now because the glue did fail in multiple parts, and it did, you saw how kind of far around it kind of bent, so it did kind of, all of the glue kind of failed. And again, same glue for both joints, so it's not a kind of about this one had a stronger joint, you know, stronger glue. So, and obviously that's a very harsh, you know, pushing down at this kind of angle, it's very strong, and it's as equal as I could get. Yes, you could say, oh, you could turn this one round, you could turn that round. I'm not making 10 different joints just for that. It's, you know, in my mind, it's always going to be this one, but I'll discuss that a bit further in a second. So, this one here, when it's kind of pushing down, because this joint fits together like this, just in one kind of direction, instead of this one fits together at 45 degrees. So this one fits down in that way. And obviously, as lots of you already know, that there is lots of end grain on this joint. There's lots of end grain down here, and there's lots of end grain there, and there's there, and there. And this fits together, it clearly fits together like this, and it can easily kind of slide out. So with lots of pressure being put on it here, the glue that's doing most of the work is on the sides, kind of here, because that's kind of side grain or long grain, and then it's obviously going against the kind of long grain on here. So that's where most of the strength in this joint is here. So it's really trying to kind of snap it apart. The first thing that failed was the end grain here to here. So that's when you hear that initial kind of crack as that bottom, this pops up kind of here. So this is where you're going to have your crack kind of there, and then later it starts cracking here. You can then see this is split kind of here. That's because obviously this is trying to force and wedge itself. This won't fit through that gap. It can easily push these two out of the way, and it cracked kind of down here and down there as well. So that's where that kind of scissoring was on here. It obviously did the initial crack where the end grain failed on there probably first, and then eventually would have been there and there. And then it got stronger, and that's where it went up higher because it was wedging the wood inside there. But in my mind, like I said, I think it's already failed at that point. If you come to a joint and it's all cracked kind of here and here, well, it's already pretty much failed, isn't it, really? It's already kind of, it's lost its structural integrity, so it's no longer that strong anymore. But that's obviously where the scale kind of went up. It was then wedging itself in here, and that's when it started to break further, is where it cracked kind of here. So the Japanese dovetail. Let's see if this one doesn't really go back together again that easily. This one exactly the same thing, same force, it's pushed down, and the reason why this one fared a lot more favourably in the strength is because it's got a wedge shaped here, yeah, so it has to, you can see it's physically broken away the material here and here, and it had to physically break away the material here for the central pin here, because the central pin there couldn't fit out this way, and these ones wouldn't fit out the other way. Because it is not slotted together at 90 degrees, it does not fit over the top, it fits together at 45 degrees. And if you're not quite sure when you go, what do you mean it fits together at 45 degrees? Have a look at this video, you'll see in the other videos I've got that the joint, grab this one here, this one's probably a bit tight. This joint, it doesn't fit clearly like this. This is why I guess it's become so popular and got a lot of kind of favour, because like how on earth, this does not fit like that, it does not fit like that. It fits together like so at 45 degrees and then slides down. Let's see if I can get this one to go together. It's very tight, this one. Yeah, I can't get it all the way down, but you get the idea. It fits together at 45 degrees, so thereby it has to kind of break itself apart to come apart once you have glued it together, yeah. And you're always going to glue this joint, you're always going to glue that one, to be fair. So that's why it obviously was a lot stronger, because it had to break the material. The glue failed here, like it did on that one, yeah. The glue, the end grain failed kind of there. It couldn't fail there because it was wedged in. So my kind of roundup conclusion, if you want to put it that way, is, you know, would you make a kind of Japanese dovetail over this one purely for strength if you were making a bit of furniture? Probably not. I certainly wouldn't. It's more decorative. It's more, and you'll see, you know, I'll show you some stills now of my console table. I made a console table that had the Japanese dovetails in the corner. I'm going to make another video on that as well. Or have a look, I may have made it already, and if I have so, the link's up above. So, it's a decorative thing, and as many of you may have tried, it's, you know, I have got a tutorial on how to make a Japanese dovetail as well, again, link up here. It's very challenging, it's very hard. So, dovetails, they're tricky and they're still challenging, and of course they're built for strength. For most of my career, the reason I have done dovetails, it's on drawers and things like that. It's not been for strength in like a carcass or whatever it is. It mainly has been in drawers. And it's because it's very traditional, of course. But then when you come to this, it's more of you're showing off your skills. You're not going to invest all of the time and effort in this because it's a lot stronger. this is more than strong enough. So it's not about a strength thing, but I guess this video is just about a bit of fun to see, you know, which one was stronger. Yes, this one is going to be stronger. Does it need to be that strong? No, of course it doesn't. But it's just a bit of fun, and it's the kind of the mechanics of how it works and all the rest of it. So yeah, I hope that's been kind of like entertaining for you guys and interesting all the same. Yeah, like I said, if I have made any mistakes on the results, I'm sorry. That's kind of as much as my knowledge is on mathematics and Newton meters and all the rest of it. But yeah, hope you found it kind of entertaining. Yeah, please write a comment, something like that. It's always really helpful. I try to kind of reply to the comments if I can, and yeah, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, have a nice day.